Hi there, this is Mike Sweeney from sabercoaching.com with a quick blog summary on the topic of building a positive career vision. When I talk to people in my network, clients, friends, peers, a lot of times there's some angst about what's going on in their career. They may tell me that their boss is frustrating them, or they don't have the career opportunities for advancement that they had hoped, that maybe the pay isn't great, the industry doesn't resonate with them and their values. And I hear a lot of energy and frustration in these discussions. When I ask the question, well, what do you want? Or ask the even deeper question of, well, what do you really want? It gets much harder for people to answer because they've spent a lot of time thinking about what they don't want. So this blog is really about how to reframe the negative situations that you have in your career into positive situations that can help drive action and energy toward your ideal career. So the first thing I recommend is you got to get specific with some of that negativity. It's one thing to say like, oh God, I'm really frustrated with my boss. But it's another thing to say, my boss doesn't have one-on-one meetings with me, and I really don't get any positive feedback. And I feel like sometimes in senior meetings, I get excluded. That is nice and specific. So for each area within your career, your boss, the advancement, the pay, the peer group, everything related to your career, you can sit down and think, what is the discomfort? What do I really not like? And there's this concept of creative tension I read about in Peter Senge's book, The Fifth Discipline. And you can use elastic bands for this. I'm a dad of daughters, so I only get hair bands. But the idea is that if the current state is here, you can start to think about building the energy, building the creative tension for change. And the positivity part is missing so far, right? I told you to start out with some of the negative things. Then take a piece of paper on the left-hand side, write some of those negative things that you found. And on the right-hand side, just start writing the opposite. There's a concept in positive psychology called the heliotropic principle, which is loosely based on the idea that plants grow in the direction of sunlight. So we're not going to get the energy and excitement and positivity around change if we don't move things to the positive zone. So on the left-hand side, you've got your negative pieces. And so, for example, if you might have said, I'm not getting feedback, I don't have the opportunity to be in senior team meetings, and I don't have one-on-one meetings, well, you can write the opposite. I want a boss who has a leadership style that's inclusive, especially at the strategic level. I have the opportunity to get feedback periodically, especially positive feedback that I'm doing the right thing. And I want to have the opportunity to have one-on-one meetings. Well, you can interview for that type of boss. And you can say, well, tell me a little bit about how often you communicate with your team. What does that look like? Do you have one-on-one meetings? What kind of feedback do you give your team, and how frequent do you give that feedback? When you have strategic meetings, who's in the room? Those are the kind of things that if you start to articulate, your positive career vision will start to bubble up in some detail because you've had that detail from the negativity that you've now reframed. Third step really is taking that list and that right-hand side of the page and making a story out of it. Think about what's most important, what's least important, and prioritize, and start to describe what you really want and be able to articulate an answer to that question. They talk about vision sometimes as the idea of sailing to this island off in the distance. Well, if you get some general coordinates on that island and you get some description of what is on that island, it's a lot easier to chart your course in that direction. Another step that you need to take is really think about that island that you've just described. Think about that positive career vision and ask yourself why that matters. Why do you feel like you need positive feedback from your boss? Why do you feel like you need a job where you can advance to an executive level within the next couple of years? Why does that matter, and how does it tie into what you really care about in your life? And then finally, start to circulate that with your close family, with friends, with your friendlies within your network, where you can start to tell people this is really what I'm looking for. And they might keep an eye out for what you have in the future, and you might be able to start moving in that direction because you've got it clearly articulated. Check out my blog on this topic for more information. You can check on the link right here, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a good day.